Attention gamers, when it comes to this bug-ridden piss pit of a game overrun by a community of sweat-ridden toxic basement dwellers, you eventually hit a state of enlightenment, or maybe just self-realization, that chasing after ranked wins is as pointless as a pencil that needs sharpening, and instead you find your calling in life, which is to one-shot ADCs. Hey, it's your favorite TTS demonetized demon up in this bitch, and today we are going to talk about how small changes over the last year have turned this autistic yeti riding toddler into the best 100-0 one-shot champ in the game, and it really just boils down to the fact that this rune exists to make your queef quakes do more damage than they are supposed to. So if you pair that with the both healthy and stealthy damage boosts along with all the recent buffs to burst focused AP items, and you will see just how many people can get one shot in a single ultimate. Introducing Manscaped's Chairman Pro. The knees of the bees when it comes to men's grooming, featuring a 360-degree contouring head to match every weird-shaped face in the world, 2 interchangeable blades in case you want smooth or a little stubble, all waterproof with a 75-minute battery. It's quite literally the perfect gift for Father's Day if you League players have one of those in your life. And as a new dad this year, my daughter is a huge fan, as I'm already teaching her how to be a dank gift giver. So don't get dad another f***ing coffee mug for Father's Day. Use my link for 15% off the Chairman Pro instead. Alright, so the first thing I do every game is treat the mid lane like a bowling alley, where I head back to downtown Disney and start rolling a bitch blunt into the battlefield. I let the jizz covered disco ball touch the wave, and then I let it orgasm. This is a rinse and repeat angle, because outside of that I am effectively useless. I don't fear a little Hogwarts bastard peppering me up, because my Q is the same as chugging 3 health pots, but once the little chode picks up on my strategy and starts putting a stop to it, that's when I execute phase 2. I headbot on my Jizzco ball to visit Cat Dog as if this is 1990s Nickelodeon, ignoring the fact that my co-workers are late to work. Their jungler is here and my snowball didn't even touch the dog, but I end up getting one of them low enough for them to get bamboozled by the impersonator I hired to play me on TV, and with that the first assist is in the books. I do stop home to take care of some chores, murder some midgets, then let their leader think he's gonna kill me before realizing that a single snack undoes all of his hard work. The plan initially is for me to go back to downtown Disney World, where I will construct the disco ball that nukes the next wave, but then I see my little imposter enter the equation, where she surprises the world with a whiff Fruit Loop, and I come in to hit a combo outside the cage before I act like I'm at a Rihanna concert and then I guess their mid says he didn't realize it was bring your support to work day, and I say wrong you dumbass, it's actually now bring your jungler to work day, as I hit him with a flashing freeze bitch combo before kind of just swatting at him like a cat in front of a yarn ball before I can chomp for the kill. I like cats, but when a dog shows up I tend to get a bit timid. That said, I can't just leave Lizzie the lizard there to get staff fucked by a fiery basset hound, so I roll back in before disconnecting, because I'd like to practice the Minahasa ethnic group's culture of eating a cat. The dog saw this and was like, shit, I might be next, as I channeled a fully charged up queef quake before deciding it's a bit premature to try and pull off kills like that. Psych bitch, I hit a Dua Lipa 180 on that biz niche, knowing damn well that if cat tasted good I would absolutely love to get a big bite of dog. And you may think it's a bit off meta to see a Nasus playing jungler in 2025, but he's not a jungler, he's actually a feeder, which is a role that usually only my team gets in Champ Select, but in this particular case I was thrilled to see one on the other team. I was then going to build a fully charged ult in the shrubs as a personalized surprise for their Jinx, but then I realized there's a rendezvous in the river and I'm always down to get my dick wet, so I come in hotter than a jalapeno's armpit, only to drive this thing like an Asian woman. But that said, it doesn't matter, because once I get Tiny Dumbledore to sit still I put him through a very depressing Final Destination style ending, and then their Yumi player has to tab back in and act like she knows how to move her character for a few seconds before dying herself. At this point the whole rift is just one honey-covered wasteland, which means their feeding jungler now has his FF15 tattoo proudly displayed as he starts donating cash. The homunculus from Hogwarts then comes in, seeming to think I give a fuck about being caught in the fence, but in reality I was just distracting him from the fact that my support threw a caster minion costume on so that she could get all the way up his asshole before aiming her Fruit Loop. This was the proverbial green light for me to roll the largest cosmic bowling ball straight at that magic midget, and you may think I'm getting greedy, but that's when I remind you that I've got ice flowing through these yeti veins. And thus with 2 super buffed items I know that a fully charged ult should be enough to kill any ADC at this age, so all I had to do was be patient and wait. Okay, so you probably want to see the events that lead up to this play that after you see you'll lay in bed at night thinking about, and it all started with your typical silver elo pre-game shit fest. To be honest, I was so unprepared for an invade that you can still hear the Killdozer video on my second monitor playing during this entire sequence.
In August, Killdozer chonies and Red 40 chonies. 8 o'clock, Jessica and I are going for a walk. Before we leave, because I love my life, I'm gonna try out the Bison grass-fed pouch. Look at this, guys. Oh, man. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything. You guys can figure it out. Remember, guys, we still have these arrowroot snacks. And take these on the walk with us. Big bag. Ah, they're pretty big. Perfect. Not too sugary. They taste like vanilla. This is good. If I'm being honest, though, guys, the real MVP of this challenge is the Pedialyte. This cherry one is good. Oh my.
But even heavily distracted, I walked out of that fail fest with 2 homicides to my name and a great start for what would be a crazy snowball, no pun intended. To make matters even better, the enemy team installed an ATM in my lane, to which I was very grateful, as I even told my team's jungler that he can visit to withdraw funds, as well as I wanted to share in the wealth of laning against a win shitter. But there comes a time in every midget Yeti jockey's little life when they need to leave home and find their own place in the world. My place is typically on top of some dead anorexic gun slut omega lol, as you see me bust a premature nut on her dead corpse. That said, if you think for a second I'm gonna let a chrome-tinted Cheetos finger sweaty tampon whiffing Nautilus abuser live when I'm already in town, then you are more crazy than Hassan Abies takes me. Haha, we love political jokes, but anyways, yeah, he got bitch pulled back to base. But you buy a bot lane of fish instead of teaching them how to do it themselves, and then the second you leave they are shitting the bed worse than a puppy with IBS that got into the cheese drawer. So I interrupt my plans in order to interrupt theirs, as Pyke shows us all why he's a moron. But ulting at 70% aside, we do end up killing the arcane actress and dumping her body in a river. I decide that bot laners in this game are about as useful as foreskin pimples, so I head down there to see those fucking losers glowing like Shaq's knee in an icy hot commercial, so I abandon my ball so that I can head back up to take a big bite out of that dying submarine. Then it's back to my hometown, because as someone who lanes against a win shitter, you tend to develop a reliance on being able to walk down lane and just get free kills handed to you. As you see, Pyke still has yet to learn how to ult, and I apparently am a hypocrite for making fun of anyone else's gameplay. Anyways, I saw that ginger braided gun slut all alone bot lane, which to any seasoned League player is like seeing a warm invitation to Pound Town, so I extend the invitation to my homeboy in the forest, knowing he will alley-oop himself from the sky, and I will be sure to then follow it up with a big old dunk. I piss on a statue until it corrodes, and then I just know they will have a ponytailed shitbagger coming down to check on things and maybe even try to turn me into an ice yeti shish kebab. But the proverbs do say he who tries to surprise will be surprised, or some shit, as I build up the biggest fart I've ever ripped to show that with just one item I can already almost one-shot a bitch. With 2 items and a pair of the purple Nikes, it's now time to start roaming around the rift like someone who just escaped from a prison in New Orleans, and the first victim of my newfound freedom is going to be that pale-skinned right-clicker who gets yeeted back to base. Then, if I'm being honest, I have the perfect game of cat and mouse set up for these 2 mouth-breathing degenerates, as I'm thinking a fully charged ozone ripper out of my anus will do the trick, but my top ruins the surprise and give them just enough time to react, which would have been close to a one-shot double kill, but instead it resulted in a very uncoordinated cleanup attempt between 3 of us, where we all have to witness once again that Pyke still has no idea how the fuck his ult is supposed to work. This leaves just shish kebab Sammy running for his life like he just saw Sketch's OnlyFans page from 2023, but unfortunately for him there's no outrunning a party when the world's largest disco ball has been ordered for the occasion. Turns out we're kind of getting shit on, which is something I didn't realize, but hey, not every enemy team is gonna have one of those Gnosis players on it. I'm just happy to be in the same game as an ADC, because I get off on watching health bars disappear faster than Vitaly's freedom, as we can all mark our calendars as today being the first time Pyke didn't ult too early, as I celebrate by ulting too late. Dragon is coming up soon, so we decide Lord Farquaad's older taller brother should probably be murdered beforehand to avoid any logistical problems, but then here is where it all happened. I decide that I have enough items to start looking for a clip so that I can clickbait the intro of this video while my team gets their dicks tangled in a bunch while they are circle jerking each other off. The good players in the stands are probably standing up yelling, "What the hell is Rab doing?" as I sit here while one player after player on my team die to their own stupidity. But that's when you have to realize I play this shitty game for one reason, and one reason only. To do shit like this. Shout out to Aphelios who admired the spectacle, and when you score a quadra kill this late in a game there's only one way for it to end. With a loss. Rav out.